Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start chapter 585 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. Next, Chun Yuan introduced Nya Wen Kyuko to Tina Morgan. That introduction alone left both women deeply stunned. Tina hadn't expected it at all. This Miss Catherine, the world's richest woman who had recently been making waves throughout American high society, who had been featured by media everywhere and even held in high regard by the Skull Society's leadership. She was Chun Yuan's person? Chun Yuan's influence had already penetrated the Skull Society? Some had even speculated that Miss Catherine would qualify to run in the Supreme election 3 years from now. On the other side, Kyuko was even more shocked. She had believed that infiltrating the Skull Society and rising to her current position was already an incredible achievement. But Chun Yuan? He already had someone planted inside the Skull Society's highest council. Even one of the top 3 leaders, Duchess Tina, was one of his people. Just one move, and he had uprooted nearly a third of the entire U.S. power structure. Words couldn't even describe how insane this was. And then came Chun Yuan's next move. He was planning to buy America? Turn the entire Federation into his private property? What the hell? Was this even possible? But when reality stares you in the face, no matter how insane it sounds, you have to accept it. I really underestimated the boss's vision. My thinking is still too limited. For a true powerhouse, turning an entire nation into private property is nothing. Heck, even privatizing the entire planet wouldn't be impossible. Human imagination is always bound by chains and limits. But those limits exist only to be broken. Kyuko paused, brows furrowed in thought. Recently, there's been a lot of unrest within Skull Society. Many elite Americans have started injecting the super soldier serum. But I refuse to believe the success rate of that genetic modification is truly 99%. There's something very off here. Maybe someone behind the scenes is using the serum to control the global elite. Once the elite are controlled, the world follows. Because when you control the top, you don't need the bottom. The masses? As long as they survive and meet their basic needs, they won't rebel. Maybe a worldwide transformation is coming. Whether that's a disaster or humanity's salvation, no one can say for sure. Kyuko fell into deep contemplation. Meanwhile, Chun Yuan, wearing a smooth bald head and a face mask, walked into a barber shop. "Hello, sir. What style would you like to cut?" The barber started to ask, then went silent after seeing the bald head. "I want something flowing and stylish." "Money is not an issue," Chun Yuan said calmly. "Flowing? Are you sure?" "Sorry, sir, he's new." The store manager quickly stepped up. "Can't you tell? The boss wants a wig." "Oh, now I get it." Chun Yuan sat down and casually removed his mask. The barber stared at his face for several seconds. "Dude, you really look like someone." "Boss Yen, maybe?" "Yeah, that's it. You seriously look just like Boss Yen. If it weren't for a tiny difference in aura, I'd think you were his twin brother." "Well, the world's a big place. People end up looking alike sometimes. There's that guy in Guangxi who looks like Luo Zixiang, and the little CEO from Hunan. Shame though, Boss Yen's already gone. Mind if I take a few photos with you?" $100 per selfie. "You're ruthless." "Fine then, 10 selfies, and I'll waive the cost of the wig." "Deal." Half an hour later, Chun Yuan walked out with a luxurious, flowing wig for free, and the barber proudly had 10 selfies saved on his phone. Holy crap, with that wig on, he looks even more like Boss Yen, like 80% similar. The barber didn't realize it yet, but those 10 selfies, they'd become the greatest flex of his entire life, and they would keep paying off for the next 50 years. He eventually built his little barbershop into a national chain. No matter what problem came up, he'd just flash those selfies of him with Boss Yen, and it would shut everyone up. He became the ultimate flex king. After finishing his haircut, Chun Yuan casually snapped a photo and posted it to his social feed. Within 1 minute, his WeChat exploded. "Holy shit, Boss Yen is alive. He just posted a story from a hot soup place in Zhengzhou. I thought he was dead. Even the news said so. What's going on?" Just because it's from his account doesn't mean it's him. Could be someone else using it. Or an old photo. Somebody call him. For the next few hours, Chun Yuan's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. He patiently responded to every call. To clear the air, he simply told them, He wasn't on that plane. Then came calls from Yihan, Qin Wushuang, and several others from the Chun family estate. Boss, I've got a car from our Zhengzhou branch heading to pick you up now. Oh, and another thing. Today, the Chun family estate was attacked. 12 armed men stormed the grounds. We suspect they were genetically modified warriors. They might have had some larger agenda. Thankfully, the medicine ancestor took care of them all. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. It was wise of you to leave such a powerful master at the estate. Right now, the police are investigating their identities. That was Moonling Shuang, giving him a detailed report. Understood. After hanging up, Chen Yuan could barely suppress the fire in his chest. The Skull Society had crossed the line. He immediately sent a message to Niao and Kyuko. Kyuko, I want a list of Skull Society's core members, especially the leaders in charge of their Special Ops Division. Understood, boss. I may not know every name, but I can definitely identify the key figures. Half an hour later, Chen Yuan received a list. It contained more than 170 names. Each one, powerful. Some were in the FBI, some in Congress. Others were high-ranking officials, or listed among the world's richest billionaires. Wang Kai, Chen Yuan said calmly. Post a bounty on every one of these people on the dark web. If they've chosen to play this game, then they'll have to pay the price. For every minute of fear caused at the Chun estate, Skull Society can bury these 170 elites with it. Chapter 996, The Chinese Stray Dog. Did you hear? Boss Yin is alive. He just updated his social feed, and it's been confirmed by several top figures. He's definitely still alive. Even Feiduan Capital released an official statement. Are you serious? Even the official news got it wrong? Damn it. I cried like a cat for nothing. What a waste of emotions. What the hell? I already bought a funeral wreath and was getting ready for his memorial. How is he suddenly back to life? Anyone with a daughter, keep a close eye. This troublemaker is back. Boss Yan's insane. He survived a plane explosion. What is he? Using God mode or something? News of Boss Yan's miraculous return spread like wildfire online. It was like dropping a bomb in a still lake. Waves upon waves of reaction. Curiosity was off the charts. Everyone was trying to figure out how the hell he survived. It made no sense. Airport surveillance clearly showed him boarding that luxury jet. But when it exploded midair, how did he walk away unharmed? Did he parachute out midway? That's not how commercial jets work. They don't just open mid-flight. Even if there was an emergency, how did he predict the danger? Why didn't anyone else get a warning? There were over a dozen crew members on board. All of them perished. By all logic, Chen Yuan surviving was nothing short of a miracle. Even crazier, he didn't have a single injury. While the net was boiling with theories, Feiduan Capital issued another statement. They would personally visit the victims' families and provide 5 million yuan in compensation per household. It wouldn't bring anyone back to life, but it was a gesture of sincerity. And this was just Chen Yuan's personal contribution. In fact, air disasters come with extremely high insurance payouts. But most insurance companies will do anything not to pay. The fine print always wins. When you're buying insurance, they promise to cover everything. But when something actually happens, this doesn't count. That's excluded. Sorry, the whole thing had Chen Yuan considering setting up his own insurance company. Maybe he could help clean up the industry's reputation. Imagine a real insurance policy. Fat insurance, cancer insurance, sick day insurance. No matter how big or small the illness, you'd get paid. The worse your illness, the more you'd receive. I really need to assign someone to make this happen. At that moment, Chen Yuan was riding in a private car heading toward Yanjing. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, inside a secret base, Director Robert. Bad news. We just got word that the target might still be alive. He just updated his social accounts. Liu, Douyin, everything. What did you say? I just finished briefing the council that Chen Yuan had been eliminated. And now you're telling me he's alive? Do you have any idea what it means to lie to the High Council? Ah shit. That explosion was massive. And now you're saying he walked away from it. Furious, Robert grabbed his subordinate by the collar. I'm afraid so, sir. But that's not even the worst part. What now? Our dark web monitoring team found your name, sir, on the hit list. There's a bounty. If converted to USD, it's about $1 billion. Not just you. Several high-ranking officers in our organization have been listed too. F******. Robert lost it. He roared in anger, but deep in his eyes, fear had crept in. $1 billion bounty? He could practically feel the eyes of his own men changing. They were looking at him like wolves, hungry, calculating, like he was some kind of Britney Spears-flavored snack. If not for the fear and respect he had built up over the years, he'd probably already have been torn to pieces. A head worth $1 billion? Just one kill, and they could live the rest of their lives in luxury. And the dark web? It's airtight. No risk of exposure. No, I have to pack my things and get the hell out. It's too dangerous here. Heart pounding, Robert hurried out of the base. He'd just gotten into his luxury car when, boom, a deafening explosion. The flames shot up over 10 meters into the air. And just like that, the head of the Skull Society's Special Ops Division was gone. That was only the beginning. The true power of money had only just begun to show itself. No one could resist the call of cold, hard cash. Wang Kai posted a list of 173 names on the dark web's bounty board. The total reward pool, over $200 billion US. The biggest bounty? Edward, the first Grand Counselor of Skull Society. His bounty alone, $50 billion. But there was only a name. No one knew his face or his true identity. The moment the list went live, it triggered global chaos. Every Skull Society elite was on edge. But fear wouldn't save them. The wrath from the east had arrived, and it could not be stopped. The most terrifying part? Some weren't even killed by assassins. They were killed by their own people. Even their spouses turned on them. Betrayal by the closest ones, that's the hardest to guard against. In just one day, over 50 high-ranking Skull Society members were eliminated. The rest lived in panic. Because true fear isn't death itself. It's knowing that someone's going to kill you, and not knowing who. It could be anyone on the street. Meanwhile, back in China, Chen Yuan had been on the road for more than 10 hours. Finally, he arrived at Longting residence in Yanjing. He picked up a special package. Inside were 2 vials of super soldier serum. This injector is fully sealed. It even has a self-destruct mechanism. Definitely to stop anyone from reverse engineering it. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Just as he was about to study it, the doorbell rang. He checked the villa's surveillance feed. It was Yang Sison and 2 assistants. They were even bringing a dog. Chen Yuan opened the gate. Come in. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. Also, if you know other fans who were reading this manhwa but stopped because it got axed, share this video with them. The more support we get, the more motivation we'll have to keep making these videos. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.